Hello YouTube. Hello everyone. Hello Jaiden. Welcome to your lesson. How you doing?
I'm good.
I just realised you're going to be getting some feedback. Let me fix that immediately.
Okay.
Okay, that should be better for you. Yeah, how you doing? How's practice been going? How's the past couple of weeks been going? How's your voice?
Like practicing has been better. I've been like practicing sometimes. I'd say
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not really like happy with my voice at least, but at least I've been like
Sure.
starting to practice more.
Okie dokie. And where are we at right now with practice? How's that looking? Like, what's our actual
Like what I'm
routine?
doing. Usually I like to like do some like lip trills and then like try to practice some resonant things and then just like like maybe like talking and then listening back and stuff.
And is that
hmm
are we getting the little and often thing into our routine?
The what?
The little and often idea, because I think that's something we talked about last time. If you're struggling to just with the way your life is structured, struggling to actually fit in practices. So what I'm looking for is like, are we doing like one or two big practices, or are we doing like lots of little practices?
I guess
Sorry,
some of
that's a
both.
question. Go ahead.
I guess I've been doing like some of both.
Okay. Okay then. So yeah, if we can try to move it as much as we can towards little and often, because that's really going to help with building habits. We build muscle memory best when we are like coming back to something repeatedly. So you spend 5 minutes on it, you come back to it in a few hours or whatever, or to the extent that you can do that within your life. Let me move this so we don't have a weird black thing coming into the shot. Yeah, okay, so tell me more about how are you finding your voice right now? Where's progress at? What are we looking to change?
Sorry, what was that? Like,
Yeah, so like, how are you currently feeling about your voice? What are we wanting to have changed? Yeah, where are we currently at in terms of like your opinion of your voice?
I'd say like I like feel like it doesn't sound like feminine enough. Not exactly sure the quality, and also like just like having more control over it.
Okay, sure. So still same sort of things as what we've been looking at up till now. I'm wanting to move us away from that not feminine enough concept because it's very, very, very vague and doesn't give you anything actionable. So we
Yeah.
really want to like drill down on that being more specific. So in our last lesson, I believe we were talking about some different resonance drills and stuff. We were doing cheeses and stuff, and we were trying to make sure we had a very clear separation between resonance and pitch. Do I remember that right? Yeah, had you entering at different pitches and stuff like that?
Yeah.
How have you been finding that sort of thing in practice?
Yeah, I've been like, like trying to like, like change my resonance around and like, like mostly just speak at a higher resonance when I
Sure.
can.
Okay then. All right. I was having another listen back just before our lesson on the little goal thing that you sent me in terms of like
Yeah.
the way you're wanting your voice to sound and that clip. Just checking, is that still what we're looking towards?
Yeah, I guess that
Yes.
works.
Cool. Okie dokie then. So I was thinking for this lesson, why don't we have a little play with things while reading, so we get the closest like comparison to the voice we hear in that video. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put up some lines for you to read. It'll be nice and simple because in this, obviously you've had her. She will have recorded and then re-recorded and like had the perfect one. So to give us as like close of a lineup as possible, we're going to go for some simple lines because obviously she will have practiced that to the point where it's simple for her. So pick a number between 1 and 72, please.
1.
1. Okie dokie. So here's some lines for you. I'll put them in the Lesson Sage chat. People are following on YouTube. This is the lines that we've been using. Oh, can I do all of those lines? No, I can't copy and paste that many lines in a YouTube message. Okay, never mind. YouTube gets screwed. Okay, well, I guess I can send you the link. So it's this link and it's list 1. Okie dokie. So we'll go through our usual resonance drill with cheeses, and then we'll go into those lines. Specific things we're watching out for. Oh, before we do that, we'll do a warm-up. Actually, yeah, warm up first, and then I'll explain what we're doing, so I don't forget. Okay, if you want to just follow my lead. Nice. Good. Good.
One probably shows.
Sorry. Okay, we're doing better than those than we have in the past. Okay. Okay, we're going to add a little thing to help you with those. We've done it before. We're going to go up to the top, and then we're going to get some glottal strikes to bring that closure back in, and then we'll slide down again. So. I don't care if you match it pitch perfect fair. Even I didn't match it pitch perfect fair, so it's fine. Okay, good. Well done. Okay, now up to the top, we'll remove the glottal strikes now. Actually, no, we'll do them at the start, okay? Glottal strikes at the start, and then we're going to go up and we're going to do a siren, okay? So, ah, 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 ah. I ran out of breath there, sorry. Take a breath before in between your strikes and the trill. Go ahead. Good. And the same thing going down. Ah, 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 ah. Okay. Nice. Okay. Make sure those glottal strikes are a real like strike, like ah, 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 where it has that like hard onset and hard offset. But apart from that, it's pretty good. And you were bringing some more closure after doing those, so I'm happy with that. Keep practicing those, but it's a minor thing. Okie dokie. So, yes, we're going to go to our lines, our halved sentences. So you have them in the chat for you. So if you can go through those lines, please. And we'll do the cheeses to set you up. Main thing we're going for here, is a very clear, a very clear enunciation. Okay. Think of it like you are, as silly as it sounds. Think of this as like you're presenting this. Okay. So for example. Cheese. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Glue the sheet to the dark blue background. ... So a really clear and precise pronunciation. Okay? Alright, whenever you're ready.
So, like, do the cheese thing first?
Yeah, start with your drill and take that into the speaking.
Okay. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Glue sheet to the dark blue background. It's easy to tell the depth of the well. These days, a chicken leg is a rare dish. Rice is often served in round bowls. The juice of lemons makes fine punch. The box was thrown behind the park truck. The hogs were fed chopped corn and garbage. 4 hours of steady work faced us. A large size in stockings is hard as hell.
Okay, sounding pretty good. It sounded like we were tripping a little bit on some of the S's. Do you have a slight lisp as a part of your voice ordinarily? Or is that just because you were having to read out as you were reading? A slight lisp or anything like that?
Probably.
Okay, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally fine. How do you feel about that? Like, do you want me to do something about it, or do we just let that be a part of your voice?
I guess we could do something about it.
Okay. Now, if you have like an actual proper lisp, then there's going to be a limit to what I can do, because that's more speech language therapy stuff. But if this is just a habit that we have, then we can work against it. So let's go for okay, we'll just start with that first sentence for now. just to see if it affects things, can we change the word cheese to the word keep, please? So it's the exact same, just the word keep instead, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we're going to go through that first sentence. And we're just going to have a little bit of focus as we go through the S's. Making sure we have a really clear S instead of a S or anything like that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're ready.
Keep. The bridge canoe slid on the smooth planks. Glue the sheet to the
slow
dark
it
blue
down a bit.
background.
We'll just do that one
Mhm.
sentence for now. Slow it down quite a bit.
Okay.
So instead of the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks, we want the birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Okay? Slow it right down.
Mm-hmm. Keep. The bridge canoe slid on the smooth planks.
Okay. Definitely sounding a bit better. We still have that slight lisp in the S.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try. Okay. I'm going to try two variations of a sound, okay? And I want you to tell me, and we're going to work it together. And then once you've got the knack of it, you tell me which one you prefer, okay? So, I want you to imagine. We'll start with T, okay? And then we'll translate that over to S because it's easier to teach it on a T. So, I want us to go from T, and I want you to picture this as, you know, in drums there's a hi-hat. See how well this analogy will translate. So a hi-hat is one of the symbols that we can hit, I guess. And it can open and close, okay? So you have that closed hi-hat where it goes tss, 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 tss. We have an open hi-hat where it goes more tss, 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 tss. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want us to have a go with both of those. So we have our clear t, 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 and we have our not so clear ts, okay? Ts, 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 ts. Okay? Try both of those out.
Wait, but
Okay?
like that?
Hearing both of those sound pretty open hi-hat to me. Try again with a closed hi-hat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Still can get it a little bit sharper there. Getting there. And then counterpose that with the open again. Or and back to closed. Okay. We're not quite getting the sharp sound I'm trying to get at. Do you hear how even in your closed ones there's kind of like a TS kind of sound? Do you hear that? Maybe go through them again and listen for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's better. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know if you are aware that there was a change there. That was much clearer.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, closed, then open. So, okay, we're struggling a little bit to get this consistent. Because that closed one isn't always, we're not always getting a proper closed. We're still often listen for that S sound or like a sh sound. That's what I'm trying to remove. Okay? So instead of a or a or something like that, I want a as in like target. Bit better. Okay, we're getting towards it. Okay, now let's do it with an S. Okay, so again, s versus s. Okay, they both sounded pretty similar to me. Did they sound pretty similar to you?
Yeah. I was just doing, like, trying to do it short.
Okay, sure. So we're not necessarily just going for less time. There's also a sound change. Okay, so I'm going to do both.
Yeah.
See if you can pick out which is which, and describe to me how you would hit. Like, how would you describe this change in sound? Okay.
The first one is, like, more short, but
Okay.
and shorter.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll take that. Okay. You give it a go now. Yeah, we're struggling to get that sharper sound as you describe it. We're getting a change in length, but the length isn't really what I'm going for here. It's that clear, the sharp sound, or like the difference between like an S and like a SH, or maybe like an SCH or something like that. Let's keep going then. Okay, still struggling a bit here. Okay, what can we do about this? And just to check, you're not aware of being like diagnosed with any like actual like lisp or anything, are you?
I don't know.
No, that's okay. Just because if we have like a actual thing here, then there's going to be less that I can necessarily do about it.
Yeah, right.
And if I recall, you don't have any things that you've seen a speech language therapist over, or like any anatomical things that are outside of what I might expect with like your mouth or anything like that. Is that, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay, that's fine, Dory. That's fine. Okie dokie. Just because if there was an anatomical thing that I'm not aware of, then that would obviously be a whole other thing to address. Okay, let's just keep practicing then. We're really trying to nail down the difference between a s and a sh. Okay? Because that might be part of when you send me send that clip to me, that The Beautiful Mess of Wonder Egg Priority by Keiko Cat. Is that how I say that?
I guess.
She has I don't know how you say her name. She has a very, very clear voice, and obviously part of that is because she's presenting and like trying to have a clear voice. It's not necessarily her typical voice, but if this is what you're specifically looking for, then that extra clarity, part of that can come from a sharper voice. So if that's something we're looking for, then yeah, let's have a play with it. As we go through this, if you decide, you know what, I don't really care about this thing, do just let me know. Okay, let's keep going then. We're looking for that really clear s versus a sh. Okay? Where's your tongue placement during these, can I ask?
I guess like upwards.
And is there any difference between the two versions? Is there any difference between the two versions? Like the open hi-hat versus the closed hi-hat? Or sharper versus duller?
Like,
your tongue
did I
move?
do both of them?
Like does your tongue change position during them?
Maybe. I think it might go lower for the, like, open.
Yeah, okay, good. That's what we're looking for. It might also go backwards a little bit as well. We're looking for that to happen. So that's good. Okay, let's just keep going. We're really trying to aim for that s or s versus the sh, or like, I don't know, like SCH or whatever. That's how I would spell that anyway. Okay. Okay. We're getting a more open now. Like there is a difference between the two. We're not quite getting as close as I'm looking for, but we are getting more open, which is good. Let me just think. Let's also check the D sound. So same thing. But we're going for a D, D, D versus a J, J, J. This one might be an easier one.
Da, 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 ja, ja, ja.
Okay, good, good. That was a really nice difference. Again.
Da, 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 ja, ja, ja.
Okay, good, good. I'm looking for exactly that. Let's go for the T next. Let's try and bring that into the T. So da, 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 ta, 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 ja, ja, ja. Okay.
Da, 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 ta, 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 ja, ja,
Yes.
ja.
Nice. Okay, now da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Okay, getting better there. We tripped on a couple of those S's there, but that's a lot better now. Da seems to have been the way for you. Okay, again.
Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Okay, good. Do you hear how this is sounding quite different now? Cool, cool. Let's keep going. Again. Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Okay, okay. We're still not quite getting those S's, but we're getting pretty good. Let me invent a quick sentence for you, but also makes grammatical sense. Yeah, there you go. Okay, David stole the straight sword. We'll go
David's-
for.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll go for do the d d d t t t sa 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 to set you up, and then go for the sentence.
Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa. David stole the straight sword.
Okay, okay. Still struggling a little bit with that S, but the others are sounding quite good now. The T is sounding quite good. Let's just keep going with this. Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa. Really focus on that sa, okay?
Da, 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 ta, 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 sa, sa, sa.
Super close. Let's also add in at the end. No, let's go. Okay. Da, 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 ja, 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 ta, 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 cha, 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 sa, 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 sha, sha, sha. Okay.
Like all of that?
Yeah. So basically, we're going sharp door, sharp door, sharp door.
Wait, how did they go again?
Da, 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 ja, 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 ta, 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 cha, 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 sa, 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 sha, sha, sha. Okay.
Wait, so like just like da, ta, and sa, but like it goes open.
So that, yeah, so all going for that
Yeah.
like open hi-hat versus close hi-hat, or sharp versus dull, for all of them.
Wait, how does like da and ta sound open again? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Ta, ta, ta for closed. Cha, cha, cha for open.
Da, 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 sha, 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 ta, 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 sha, sha, sha. Sa, 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 sha, sha, sha.
We're really close on that sa. The duh one, by the way, is more like a DJ kind of a sound, like duh, 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 ja, ja, ja.
Okay.
If you were to like spell it out, I guess. Yeah, it's like a slight difference in tongue placement and a slight change in like how open your mouth is, I suppose. But when we say open and closed, mainly think of that as just, I'm just using a comparison to a symbol. Don't think of these as like something being open or closed. It's just a comparison to a symbol. Okay, again. Da, da, da. Ja, ja, ja. Ta, ta, ta. Cha, cha, cha. Sa, sa, sa. Sha, sha, sha.
Da da da. Ja ja ja. Ta
It's okay. Get a drink if you need it.
ta ta ta. Ja ja ja. Sa sa sa. Sha sha sha.
Okay, we're still struggling on that S. That's the big one for you. Trying to think if there's another way you can enter it. I think this is just one you're going to need to practice a bunch.
Yeah.
Because we're struggling to get that level of sharpness on the S. I'm kind of with you, because we are unsure about exactly what it is that you're looking for. I'm just looking for differences between your voice as I hear it and the clip that you sent me. And this is one of those differences. So yeah, let's just keep going with it. This is going to be your homework. Trying to think if there's anything I want to add or change. No, I think it's fine. Keep in mind, when you try to use this in sentences, not every occurrence of t is going to be the sharp one. So, for example, the word strawberry is more of a dull t. Okay, so and you'll get a vibe for that as you speak. So just to make it clear that like not everything has to be this perfect sharp thing, but you'll realize what's what as you just go through sentences. Okay, let's go again from the top. Da da da, ja ja ja, ta ta ta, cha cha cha, sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
Da da da. Ja da da da. Ja ja ja. Ta ta ta. Sa sa.
Sha. It's okay.
Sha sha sha. Sa sa sa. Sha sha sha.
Really struggling with that S one.
Sa.
Do you hear like? Do you hear why da becomes ja? Do you hear how they're kind of the same letter but said weirdly?
Not really.
Like, do you hear the da in ja? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you hear the ta in cha?
Yeah.
And do you hear the sa in sha? Okay, cool. Because these are all, we're doing just the same thing to the letter in each one. Like, if I say da 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 versus ja ja ja, and ta 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 versus cha cha cha, can you hear, or can you like tell, even if you couldn't describe it that well, can you tell the thing that is like the consistent thing that I'm changing? Does that question make sense?
Yeah.
Even if you can't describe it that well, you can tell that like it's the same thing that I changed in both the t version and the d version.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Trying to think off the top of my head, is there another word like that? Or sound like that? S, t, and d are the usual ones I go with. Hang on, let me pull up my APA chart. No, it's not really going to give what I'm looking for. Okay, that's fine. Don't even worry about it. I'll play around that in my own time. Cool. Okay, so we're just going to keep on this for a bit, and just keep repeating this. really trying, because we're getting that the d is perfect. The t is now also perfect. Let's try, if I get rid of the d and you just go for the t and the s, let's just see what happens real quick.
Ta ta ta, sha sha sha, sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
Okay, good. And we'll go from the D to the S. Excuse me.
Da da sa, like.
Yeah, so da da da, ja ja ja, sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
Da da da, sha sha sha, sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
Struggled a bit on that second D, but it wasn't quite the j sound. It was more like the sh of like the S. Try again.
Da da da, sha sha sha.
Do you hear how that's not a duh anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, try again.
Da da da, sha sha sha, sa sa sa, sa sha sha sha.
I can hear you getting confused there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, your main confusion there is something's tripping us up on these S's. So when you're going into your S, you're kind of starting at the second one. You're starting at the duller one, the more open symbol. We got to figure out why, because these aren't translating over for you. You started to get closer when we had that full da da, ja ja, ta ta, cha cha, sa sa, sha sha. You started getting a bit closer on those, but we're still not quite getting it. I suppose, does anything feel different in our d versus our sa?
Does it feel different? Da da da, sha sha sha, sa sa sa, sha sha sha. I suppose.
Tell me more about what you're... I'm looking for why we can get a duh, but we struggle to get a sa. Because it should be similar things. If there's anything you can tell, anything feeling different about those.
Da da da, sha sha sha, sa sa sa, sha sha sha. I guess I can like kind of tell that it's like not as sharp.
And can you... do I go with physical route? We'll dabble into the physical route. Okay, I want you to focus on what happens as you make a duh sound. Focus on what happens in your mouth. So a duh, we have the tongue kind of bunches up against the teeth. Duh, duh, duh. Whereas in the ja, the tongue moves it back a bit. Ja, ja, ja. It's not quite against your teeth anymore. Do you feel the same thing?
Da da da, sha sha sha. Yeah.
Watch,
yeah,
we're still getting
yeah.
that duh sound. So it's not sh, it's ja, ja. It still has that
Cha
duh.
cha. Okay. Da da da, cha cha cha.
Yeah, okay. It becomes kind of like a J. Or like a DJ, I guess, whatever. If you're into metal, the start of gent. Okay, yeah, so you can feel that change. Now go for the S's, and we're going to try and see what are we getting different that's happening.
Sa
And try
sa
to like, sorry.
sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
That was better. That was a lot better.
Sa.
Could you tell that it was different?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. Just do that again. I don't
Sa
know what
sa
changed there.
sa, sha sha sha. Sa sa sa. Yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Sa 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 sa, sha sha sha. Sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
Yeah, your second pair there. So the first pair, the starting one was still pretty open symbol or pretty dull. The second set that you did there, when you tried again, the first one was a lot better. You were
Yeah.
getting more of a clear sa. Yeah. I'm wondering if part of it is because once we have that open teeth thing for the s sound, that could be what's throwing you off a bit, because you don't have that same sensation of like pushing your tongue against your teeth like you do with like a t or like a j. Okay, back to d, 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 and j, 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 and I want you to focus on what your mouth does to produce those sounds, and just tell me.
Da da da, ja ja ja.
Okay?
Sa sa sa, sha sha sha.
So starting with that duh, just tell me what happens. What's happening in your mouth to produce those sounds? How are you doing that? Pretend I'm an alien.
Da. I don't really know how to explain this.
So what's your tongue doing? How are you making that duh? What's your tongue doing? What's your tongue doing? What's your teeth doing? How open versus closed is your mouth? Yeah.
Da.
I'm an alien. I don't know how to make that duh sound. How would you teach me to do it? As best as you can. It doesn't have to be like perfect.
Da. I guess you like. I guess my tongue kind of like touches the roof of my mouth, and like you know
Okay.
my mouth opens. So yes.
Duh, duh, duh.
Da
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to
da
me.
da da.
Duh, duh.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. And what about the j, j, j? How do I change that to turn it into that?
Ja ja ja. Da da da. Ja ja ja. Da ja.
Yeah, like I just don't know how to. You've taught me how to do a duh, so I can do a duh. But how do I make it into that j sound?
Sure.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make that sound. How do I do that?
Da ja. I guess you kind of like do it longer. Like
Okay, I'll
the,
try to do it longer. Duh, 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 duh.
Da
Well, it's not working. It's not working. Is there something else?
sha sha da sha. I don't know exactly how to describe it.
Sure, sure. Duh, j. So if I go for a duh, 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 my tongue kind of nestles in between my top teeth and my top of my mouth. Duh, duh, duh. But if I go for a j, 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 my tongue kind of goes back a bit, so it's no longer touching the teeth. It still is on that surface, but it's kind of moved back a little bit. So I got that j, j, j. And I think the tip of it has gone down a little bit as well. Do you experience anything similar to that as you try to do those two words? Or two sounds, I should say? So if you go through them again, paying attention to what your tongue is doing and what in relation to the rest of your mouth, does it sound like how I described, or does it sound different for you? Or feel different?
Yeah.
Go through them, listening to your mouth. Or feeling your mouth.
Just like the da and cha.
Yeah. See if you can pinpoint what's happening between the two. And there's a description as what I have to try and guide you.
Cha. Ta. Cha.
Is it similar to what I described, or is it different?
How did you describe it again?
So like the da, my tongue, the front of my tongue, kind of nestles in. So I have it like touches the teeth and also like flat on the roof of my mouth. So like imagine if this is my tongue and this is the front portion of my tongue. There's my teeth. It kind of nestles in there, and also there's the roof of my mouth. It kind of nestles in there. So it's in that little corner, and that's how I make a da sound. If I want to change that to more of a ja sound, da, ja, the tongue moves back a little bit and the tip dips down. So where we were in that corner before, now we're kind of out of that corner a bit and tips down a bit. So now it's just kind of this bit that's touching the roof. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Might be slightly different for you, so you let me know.
Ta. Cha.
Make sure it's not a cha. We want that da sound to still be there. So it's a da versus
Da.
a ja. Yeah?
Da. Cha. Cha.
Is it how I described it, or is it a little bit different? Because it might be a bit different.
I don't know.
That's okay. Okie dokie. So this is something we can do as a little bit of homework. Essentially, what we're getting is you're getting the da versus the ja. You sometimes confuse it for like a cha. Listen to the difference in what I'm doing. Da, ja, ja, da, cha, cha. Can you hear how the second one, I didn't really keep the D in there? Da, cha. Not much of a D. Da, ja. It has that D still. Not a lot of words in English that use that as a thing in a word. I guess, judgment. The second bit, the j in judgment, has that sound. Look for just like DJs in words. Literally the only one that's coming to mind is gent, but if you're not into heavy metal, you won't know what that word means, or be familiar with that word. Basically we're looking to, you're getting the da to the ja, you're getting the ta to the cha, we're struggling with that, you're struggling to get the sa for then sh. You're ending it with just kind of sh, which is kind of the same thing. So 2 pieces of homework basically. Keep doing that da, ja, ta, cha, and try to use those to teach you the sa as a really clear sa sound. Okay. Also, there's homework A, I suppose. Homework B is to help you with homework A, and it's to, as you go through these, try to just, in your own words, and this doesn't have to be like words with perfect anatomy or whatever, like I'll figure it out, don't worry. But in your own words, as best as you can, try to describe what's happening between da, ja, and ta, excuse me, ta, and cha. Okay? Because what I'm looking for is there's something happening there that isn't happening in the sa, because you're just getting a sha for both of those. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions? This is a bit of a weird lesson that you probably haven't touched on much before.
No, I think it makes sense. It's just a lot to process early in the morning.
This is very nitty gritty stuff, and you will struggle in it. I'm just going to say that straight off. This is quite difficult. Try to be on your practice because you're going to need practice for this one. Very, very, very tricky. If we truly cannot make a s sound, then worth potentially speaking to a GP, because there are anatomical things that can cause this. So it was just a good idea to check in on that if this is like actually something we can't do, which would be beyond the scope of what I could help you with. Okay. Not to say that this is an unfixable thing. If that's the case, doctors have ways and means. It's just outside of my scope. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Do you have any other questions about it? Well, that was my addition, not really a question, but you know what I mean.
No, okay.
No? Okay. If you do get any questions between now and next lesson, definitely send them from the ticket. Or if there's anything that you're just like a little bit concerned about here, or because obviously I have mentioned the possibility of speaking to doctors. So if you're worried about something or anything, just shoot me a message in the DMs. Okay, cool. Shall I throw you in for 2 weeks from today, like we normally do? So that would be the 24th.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Fab.
Thank
All right.
you.
You've got lots of practice there, Jaiden. Good luck, and I'll see you next lesson.
See you next lesson.
All right. See you next time. Bye-bye. And for the, I suppose you're welcome to join in the YouTube audience as well if you'd like to. For people currently in the Discord, I'm going to be heading over to YouTube now. I'll talk about what I was thinking of that lesson, why this is what I went for this lesson, and going over all in detail. So if you want to hear what I was thinking during that, head over to, I can just type it. I need to make a command for this so I can just do it. youtube.com/@trans_network. And I'll see you on the flip side. And I remembered the @ this time. Oh, I got it wrong. I still got it wrong. What did I do? Oh, I just didn't do the HTTPS. I didn't make it a hyperlink. Now you can just click on it. Okay. All right. Click on that and I'll see you in chat. Okay. See you in a minute. Bye. Hello, Soul Strings. Hello, me Huggy. Hello, YouTube chat. Yo. Yeah, I knew you'd know what it is, Soul Strings. I'm like, gent is the only word I can think of. Oh, let me move this over. Yeah, I knew like, I was constantly going back between the ticket and the lesson during that. I hope I didn't like screw up the VOD too much. I need to remember that OBS gets affected when I do stuff. I couldn't think of a word that has that j sound other than gent. And I'm like, nobody knows what gent is, Sarah, unless you're into fucking heavy metal or if you're into like music and stuff. Nobody knows what gent is. Nobody knows that. But I'm glad you know, Soul Strings. So basically my thoughts for that lesson were, first of all, in her past cheeses, I've noticed that, and I haven't like mentioned it at all, gentle. Yeah? Yeah, gentle would have worked. Gentle would work. The delay is like infinite. That might also just be me reading things late. Although, no, I don't think I read about too late. Let's test for delay a little bit. Because there is an increased delay for me because of the chatbot that I use, because it has to run locally on my PC. When I put my thumb up, and I want you to be ready, okay, type 0 into your, we'll type 1 because the 1 is cooler than 0. Type 1 into your bar, but don't send it yet, okay? Don't send it. Just be ready. As soon as I put my thumb up, I want you to hit enter, and then we can time that, okay? So, 3, 2, 1, hit enter. Wow, okay. 10-second delay. Okay, that's a big delay. Gee whiz. Wow. Okay, that's okay. Well, let's talk about what we're talking about, and then our thing afterwards can be, if you guys know about streamer things, how can I reduce that delay? 10 seconds is a bit much. I'd be okay with 5 seconds, but 10 seconds is a bit much. Yeah. So basically, my thoughts were, I'd noticed in previous lessons that her cheeses were more like sheesh or something like that. There was a struggle to get that clear CH sound and a clear S sound. And what that tells me is there's a potential issue with sharpness, which could also, it could legitimately be like an actual lisp, which if it is that, there's not a lot I can do. It's not something I've worked with particularly much before now, so I might have to do some extra research to like look for signs to be like, hey, maybe you should actually speak to a doctor about this instead of me. But either way, the reason this lesson I decided to go in on it is Jaiden's a bit of a tricky student in that the feedback I'm constantly getting from her in terms of her own voice is that she doesn't feel like she sounds feminine enough. Bit of a tricky one, because I imagine to all of you listening and to myself as well, it's a pretty feminine voice. I would always read that as feminine. That doesn't mean that we're at her goal though, because there's lots of different iterations of feminine. We can have hyper feminine voices, we can have not hyper feminine voices. There's a lot we can work with there. But in a previous lesson, you may remember, she sent us this clip to have a listen to. Let me pull it up again. And we'll just have a little compare. So that you know what
Probably shows
what she's aiming at. In fact, yeah, just listen to it, okay?
the highest potential of any anime that began airing this year, and the final episode is one of the most disappointing. It was a very painful experience watching the series deteriorate over the course of 6 months. The strength of the...
So if you hear that voice, that's not a hyper fem voice. It's a pretty ordinary feminine voice. Now she's obviously reading out a script there, and she's presenting very clearly. So to some extent, like, to some extent, like, that's not a natural voice. But at the same time, I should really look at the camera. But still, to some extent, like, yes, it's not a natural voice, but we can still kind of imagine what a natural voice would be like. And then we need to look at, like, usually when people send a clip saying, hey, I want my voice like this, they're not literally looking for a perfect identical voice to that. There's elements of that they want to bring into their voice. Usually it's going to be similar level of, whether you use the term resonance or vocal tract size or whatever, similar on that aspect, similar on the weight, so the two core gendered things, similar on those aspects, and then sometimes also some tone mods being sent over. Now, in this clip, I'll play it again for a little bit.
The initial 3 episodes lies in the themes and emotions conveyed through visuals and character.
So we're not really hearing any tone mods at all here. Instead, we just have a perfectly clear voice. Okay? So if I'm thinking perfectly clear voice, then I would be looking at, no tone mods at all, just no tone mods. No fry, certainly. But generally just no tone mods. And then if we're still not satisfied, even when there aren't any tone mods, because in her voice, I'm not hearing any, in Jaiden's voice, sorry, I'm not really hearing any tone mods. So we're mainly then looking at, like, what's left. Well, clear pronunciation, which is why I started this lesson going through some simple lines, the idea being that if we go through some simple lines, we can get as close to, we can get as close to like for like between these two voices, because a script that you've rehearsed a bunch, that you're now recording for a YouTube video, it's now very simple to you. So it's like simple lines, because you're trying to present it so clearly. So if you haven't practiced a bunch of lines and are ready to present something, then it's going to be more like you it's more like the closest thing for you, unless you've practiced a script and gone through it a bunch and presenting it, would be simple lines, with the added thing of like imagine you're presenting. So if I try to just like bring up some lines, sentences. So if I try to imitate this via the simplicity.
Acting. The first episode alone functions almost perfectly.
The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Glue the sheet to the dark blue background. It's easy to tell the depth of a well. These days, a chicken leg is a rare dish. Add a little bit of fry come in there because that's something I very habitually do, but you get the idea. We had that very clear and very like precisely pronounced words, I suppose, with that reading style of prosody. So yeah, I wanted a like for like comparison so we could just look for differences. And the one that became apparent was every time we entered an S, the S was more like a sh. So it was more the birch canoe slid on the smooth plank in Jaiden's voice. So yeah, throw us in the clip as well, to be honest.
Is a self-contained short film. All of the necessary elements are established.
Actually, yeah, you're right. She does use very occasional, very small amount of fry. Hells yeah. So I wasn't even that far. Most people use a little bit of fry. Polish that. Let me Google that, and we'll find out. Polish sounds, lovely.
With indulgent escapes, only the best will do. Discover our hand-picked 5.
In this video, we will focus on the s, sh,
I may as well
sounds.
share screen.
This sound is s, s, like in the word snake. Let's see some examples. Sock, sock, some, stary, stary, smak,
Yep, you've given us a lot of examples.
śnieg,
Yes,
myślę,
yes, exactly that difference.
myślę, szyja,
What is this one like?
szkoła,
Okay, yeah, so it's lots of these sorts of sounds. It might have been close to the SZ, that was coming through in Jaiden's, but it would vary depending on the particular word being said. The video is louder on your end than your voice. Oh, really? Okay.
szkoła,
What about now? Are these about the same lot?
szpital,
Or are they significantly different? Actually, yeah, if I look at just the peakiness of the thing, I should maybe also just put my mic closer to me. So now it's probably much closer to being similar. Still louder than my voice? Yeah. But yeah, you get the idea. Let me also, okay, I want to add music in the background without it being the same channel, so I can play around. Audio input capture, create new background music. Okay. Oh no, that's not what I want. That's just going to get speakers. Which OBS source do I want for music? Would it just be media source? I guess. Okay. We'll put up Stream Tunes. That's something that resonates more with me. Stream Tunes. Oh, but I need a local file. How do I do this? If I want the sound from like an application, we'll say. So if I cancel you, you'll contour me on how to do this. And let me remove some stuff. Okay, delete you because you were wrong. remove. Perfect. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yes, you can. Oh, now I've like created a thing and I don't want it. Go away. Ah, OBS, why can you be so weird sometimes? Okay, I guess that'll do. Okay, if no, I don't want that. Hopefully that didn't show anything on screen if it wasn't supposed to. I wanted to hide this for a sec. Where's my screen share? There it is. Okay. That did not show anything that it wasn't supposed to, so that's okay. All right, folders, music. No, we'll go live and graffiti. We don't normally start with that one. Nice. Okay, that's gonna be super loud for you. Okay, so here's what I want. Here's what I want. Here's what I want. Here's what I want. Okay? Oh yeah, you are on fully black background. How did that happen? Wait, how's that even possible? Display patch goes back? Why did the background go away for you? Oh, I removed my background. Lol. Okay, let me bring that back for you, sorry. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Media source, that existing background. Sorry about that. And I know that this is all messed up for you. It'll be fixed in just a second. Order, move to bottom. There you go, sorry. Okay, yeah, so how do I get this as its own thing in the audio mixer in OBS? And can I have it so it doesn't go through the desktop audio, but everything else does go through the desktop audio? Do you understand what I'm asking for? I feel like I can do something with Air Trumpet and Voice Meter. I feel like I can do something with that. I just don't know exactly what. I know there's a way I can do this. Maybe that's something I figure out after stream if you guys don't know. Because it would be good if I could play something on stream without having to pause the music. So that all of that would work really nicely. Can you get me? Wait, why does my mic sound different now? I just moved it closer to me. And don't worry, that's not a huge delay. That's me actually reading through chat. Anyways, you like the timbre of the voice in the original clip. It has nice sounding qualities to it, and application of those qualities is accurate enough. You didn't notice any sibilance issues. Yeah, so it's essentially... so that's obviously what she sent as a, like, yo, this is what I want to sound like. So it's just translating exactly what is wanted. There isn't just like copy and paste that exact voice onto me. My mic sounds different. Literally, I just moved it. Unless it sounds significant. Wait, let me check. Let me check if this is using the correct microphone. Does it sound worse? Because that might be that it actually changed microphones. Wait. Oh, no, I moved that. Properties. Oh, that might not be correct. Okay, hang on. It did actually change. So I want... Oh, remember how to use Voice Meter, Zara. Okay. This might cut out the sound, and I'm not going to know if it does. Like my audio. So I'm going to need you guys to tell me. We'll head back over to here for now so I can see chats more easily. You guys need to tell me if my sound cuts out when I do this. Okay? Okay. Yeah, no, the original was what she wants to sound like. Or like when I asked for a more specific goal than feminine, that was what she came up with. So that's what I'm currently working off of. Okay, I'm going to change this mic. Wait, it's back. I literally didn't do anything. I hadn't done it yet. Oh. Good to know. Okay, thank you. Okay. That's really weird if it was when I changed scenes. And if I go back to... You're going to have chat on screen twice. Don't worry about it. If I go back onto here, has my voice just changed? Has my mic just changed? Does it now sound different? If you know how it sounds different, that would be good. Like if you can give me more description. Because the mic hasn't changed, to the best I can tell. It changes back. Okay. Weird. Give me a second. That's very weird. That's very, very weird. And the mic is the only thing that changed, yeah? Okay, does this do anything? Has it just changed again? Sounds a bit round, maybe too forced to mono. Somewhat dry sound, potentially some frequency cutouts. Okay. Yep, you have different scenes on different mics. No. Okay, has it just changed in any way? Very strange. You have different scenes on different mics. Yeah, no, I don't though. Remove. Yes. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1 and 2. Ooh. Okay, has anything just changed now? Do we now have something significantly different? I might have something here. It changes abruptly when you started playing around with music. Okay, now it should all be fixed. Is it all fixed now? Yeah, it should now be totally fixed. Stream delay is making this really hard for you guys to help me with things. Fingers crossed. Oh, it was already fixed. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I accidentally added an extra mic, which should be still the same mic. The camera froze. I hope the camera isn't still frozen. It definitely should not be. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine if we got that all fixed. Back to the original thing. Yeah, I need to see if I can send... Yeah, it's okay, don't worry. If we can send this media player in a way that it doesn't go into the desktop audio so that it can be playing on a different volume as everything else does. And my best guess is if we can make it go into somewhere different on the voice meter, then you was YouTube and didn't realize it. Lol. Yeah, if we can go into somewhere different on voice meter, I think we could then use that so that it is like, so that OBS can detect it as two completely separate audio things. Basically, so it doesn't come through on the desktop audio. Because desktop audio, in fact, I feel like my brain is already starting to put this together. Yes, so desktop audio is on the default audio, which should be this cable output in voice meter. So if I then had the other thing, that's an input device though, not an output device. There's a way to do this. I know this can be done. Generally can't help with audio routing here. Soul strings, you're who I was relying on. Okay, I'm going to pop to the toilet. If you guys know how to do this, then let me know in chat and we'll walk through it together. If you don't worry about it. I'll figure it out after stream. Because I know this is possible. I've done something similar before, but ages ago. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. I was checking something there before I left because I was slightly paranoid that you'd be able to hear me go to the toilet. But I'm pretty certain that you could not. So we're all good. You literally can't stream because your laptop can't handle such heavy loads. You tried streaming in the past, but it was on Windows 7, which supported your GPU. Windows 10 just said nope though. So even potato quality streams don't work for you anymore. That sucks. You want to use OBS for screen recordings, etc.? It sucks, Soul Strings. What a shitty reason to not be able to do it. Yeah, I'm able to manage okay with this. Okay, we may as well head back to just chatting for now. Yeah, I mean, I seem to manage fine with this as my setup. We definitely have times when things struggle a little bit. And like, under higher loads, my scene transition doesn't work. Like the petals aren't in sync anymore. But it's not, I don't know what I would do about that, but you're not a good streamer in the first place, if anything, though. It's just not a big deal. I mean, it's a skill for your build. I don't think I'm a particularly great streamer. Like, I very much rely on you guys for things to talk about a lot of the time. And like, there's definitely times when it's just not that, there's just not anything happening. But you know, I'm working on it. I feel like we're getting better at like filling the sort of dead space, I guess. And just, yeah, I think I'm just getting better at just kind of talking. But I still need a lot of work on that. I've used a Logitech mix line to do some complex audio routing before, which worked well. Yeah. So Voice Meter Banana is free, which is why I use it. Technically, I don't think you're necessarily supposed to be able to get it for free anymore. It's like a, do you call it donationware? Is that what you call that? Similar to WinRAR, where they'll do a message like, hey, if you dropped a donation, that'd be really cool. But like, you can just download it for free. But they don't actually host the download link anymore. But if you still go onto the old download link, like, you can still download it. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or, I mean, I figure you have it on your website for free. You just have to know what the web address is. So whatever. I don't know. I feel like this is ethical enough for me, I guess. I try to really be good with copyright stuff. Like, I'm quite against piracy and all of that. But if this is like, I'm downloading it from your own website, then I feel like if you didn't want me to be getting that, then that's on you. You literally hosted it. You're hesitant to recommend me, I do not know how I would say that, but ASIO Link Pro, ASIO Link Pro, just to try it out, but you guess you can try it in your free time. Yeah, we won't do that right now because like, we could screw with a lot of stuff. And I know it is possible in Voice Meter, because I've done something similar before. I just don't quite remember how to do it. In fact, actually, now my brain is like tuning into this. Wait, no, I've got it. I think I actually know how to do it. Oh, but this might mean that I won't be able to hear it. And only you guys will be able to hear it. Oh my god. Soul strings. Under the sea. Soul strings. Did you add a Little Mermaid reference in your fucking riff? Excuse me? Why am I back in fucking brain blasted into the Little Mermaid? Hello? Soul strings? Explain yourself. My little eureka is you use ear trumpet as well to pair with voice meter to separate out your different inputs and tweak them, or your outputs and stuff. This tune, da 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 da. That's fucking Under the Sea. Yeah, that one. Blame your pianist. Oh, sure. Your pianist was just fucking vibing with some Little Mermaid and didn't tell any of you. That's straight up, that was just, you just went into the Little Mermaid all of a sudden. The whole lot of you. Yeah, fair. Fair. I mean, I'm about it, frankly. I'm all about it. On drum solo, it's not in 4/4. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. It was his intention. That's fair. No, cool. I dig it. Also, I figure this just chatting screen is probably quite boring for you guys. I should just keep it on, not that one, this one. Just so you have more visual interest. Yeah. Another thing to consider would be, like, I do like this sort of layout where we have the background and stuff. But you do kind of just have lots of small things that you're looking at, which is maybe a little bit not as good for the viewer experience. I mean, you do get chat as, like, the chat box you guys are typing in, so I guess that's a bit better. But this is how I use interactive chat. This is how our chat works. Yeah, this is a chatbot that runs locally on my PC. So, like, if we go to commands and stuff, this is how I make all the commands. Our giveaway was done during using this. Yeah. So, like, we use the currency that's built into this. So you built currency so that then when I did the giveaway, I could set it at a ticket cost. And yeah, you could then buy our tickets and then it could pick a winner from one of those tickets. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's slightly more quieter now, more mono. Wait, my mic changed again. I literally didn't do anything this time. Wait, did the mic actually change? Oh, because I went between scenes, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. One step at a time. Is the so this is the screen share scene. The other one is the just chatting scene. Is the just chatting scene better, or is the screen share scene better? Which one is the better audio, or the more normal audio? You're not shouting, it's just caps lock. Yeah, don't worry. Let's have a look. Unhide all. Testing. Previous one felt normal, and this one has something wrong with it. Okay. Let me head back over and just check. Like, slight room reverb, somewhat better levels, less forced to mono thing. Okay. This is just me looking at stuff. Okay. Interesting. Testing. Okay. Okay, just to check something. Has that affected the sound in a significant way? Have we... Or actually, do you hear this? When I do that, how loud is that tapping? Is it like a significant tapping? And to compare, is this a significant tapping? Oh yeah, that's definitely a significant tapping. Okay. If I go over here. Yeah. That's still a loud tapping, isn't it? Still a loud tapping. They both are using the same microphone. In this scene, this one is loud. Oh, it's louder in the other scene. What is happening here? Okay, this is stupid, but what happens if I just do this? This should not do anything. Hang on a second. Soul Strings, if you are tripping with me. Oh, you have an idea? Add existing mic aux. Okay, if anything has just changed, let me know. But if that does change it, I'm going to be mad, because that makes no fucking sense. But whatever. Let's just move you to the bottom. Yeah, if that works, then I am mad at OBS, because that makes no fucking sense. But sure. It sounds louder. Are you shitting me? Oh. The fact that there is any change at all is nonsense. Can I switch for comparison? I don't know if I can actually undo that. Whoa. What did that just do? No, I didn't do anything. What did that do? I don't know what that was doing. Okay. This might just make me mute, but I'll try it. Okay, it did not make me mute. Okay, yeah. Does anything happen now? Your idea is give you AAA monotonous sound on the same pitch for 5 seconds. Change scenes, do the same in a second. Yeah, we can do that. Just turn that off for a minute. Now it's more quiet. Oh! No. Yes? Okay, wait. Okay, let me test something really quick. Hang on, I didn't manage to get the... Okay, start again. It's going to switch midway this time. I didn't manage to get it sourced out before I ran out of breath. Did it change midway during that? And I have a theory as to what is happening now. Also, for new people joining us in chat, hi, we're fixing sound issues. Second one was definitely louder. Okay. Also, hi, Vampiro. Okay. Yeah, it would have. Yeah, that's literally me clicking. Okay. All right. Now I want you to compare. Let me hide this for a second. You know what? Let's risk let's risk another docs. Because I want to see. Can I just open this? Yeah, I can. Nothing on here is going to say my name, which is fine. You can just see my tabs. Okay. Let's go over to YouTube again. Hopefully this doesn't have anything either that has my name, which it shouldn't, and does not. You can see some of my subs, I guess, and you can judge me. Okay, let me think about what I'm doing for a second. Boo. What am I doing? Oh, we'll just go for like a fucking G3 or something. Being as I use that one often. Okay, tell me if something changes in this, because everything makes sense to me if this changes midway. Okay. Okay, did that have a big change? We'll absolutely go through that in a minute, Vampiro, because I think I have this down now. It's okay, Soul Strings, I think I know exactly the issue. Wait, no audio? YouTube has no audio. What? Oh, it'll be because it's turned the fuck down. No, it does have audio. Hang on, let me try that again. Okay, I'll need a second to reset it. Okie dokie. All right. Did that change in the exact same way as we had the mic change? And louder would make sense. Got louder? Okay. Ouch. Oh, sorry. Okay. Do we prefer the audio like this, or do we prefer it how it was in previous streams? Because right now is definitely a different kind of audio thing. And I will explain exactly what I've done and what's happened here afterwards. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, do you prefer my mic as it currently is, or do you prefer it as it normally is? And while we're at it, we will get rid of that, and I will make my Discord stop making noises so that you guys don't get pissed off about that. Okay. Yeah, what are we thinking, guys? Do you prefer this mic as it is now, or do we prefer it in previous streams? To compare, I guess, do you prefer... So I'm talking right now. This is me talking. Do you prefer my mic right now? Is this good? Do you like it like this? Or would you prefer it to be like this, where I'm talking right now, and this is how you're hearing my microphone? Is this something that you prefer? Yeah, this is how it's been in previous streams. This is what you're used to. And the other one is the different one. So yeah, do you prefer 1 or 2? This one's 2, obviously. Yeah, which one do you like? Tell me. Dude, the delay kills me. We need to deal with that delay at some point. But once we figured this out, we'll go over Vampiro's questions about phonation. Yo, chat, talk to me. Tell me which one you want. Hello? What happened to my chat? I see you all in there. I see you all. Okay, there we go. Difference in quality isn't what you were referring to earlier. Now it's just the loudness, but the difference between the scenes was more than just that. What? Oh, okay. Okay, whatever. We'll deal with that later, I guess. And here you can have some music back. Here you go. Let me know if you want me to change levels. Yeah. Okay, well, this is how it's always been in the past. So I'll leave it there, unless you guys tell me you prefer it the other way. But it should just be a loudness thing, really. We'll do that in a bit, Sorcerings, because I don't want to take away from... Vampiro wanted to talk about phonation exercises I was doing, because that's the stuff we're meant to talk about, not mess with my audio. I will get that fixed, though, because I have a rough idea of what's going on. Okay, Vampiro, you came here to talk about the phonation exercises that I was doing during that lesson. Yeah, okay, so essentially what was going on there is what was happening in Jaiden's voice was she was getting her phonation cutting out during the lip trill. Common issue, and it's usually something to do with the vocal folds. Basically, the vocal folds aren't making proper closure. Usually it's a pressure issue, can be a technique issue, but we're not getting proper closure. Reminder that the way the vocal folds work is to produce that sound, we go closed, open, closed, open, closed, dot, dot, dot. And they just keep doing that over and over and over again. So if we're not having full closure in those closed bits, then air can leak out. If we're really not getting enough closure, we won't get sounds being produced by the vocal folds. So to help with that, I use glottal strikes. A glottal strike is something I picked up from Charles over in Linguistics. A glottal strike is essentially your vocal folds going with like full closure, okay? It sounds like this. So you can hear that like the initial obviously what I'm doing slower there, so you can I can have a visual as well. We're starting from a full closed, immediately bringing in some sound, and then ending on a full closed. Obviously it's actually like doing that the whole time in between. The point is that it just starts on a full on closure and ends in a full on closure as well. So like that is stopped by just a bang. Okay? You hear this in when British people skip their T's, they skip it with a glottal stop. So that's where the end of it stops with just a close. Okay? But. So we have that ending where it's just a stop. Okay? So the proper way to describe that would be a glottal offset or glottal stop offset. So the offset of a sound is you just stopping. So a glottal strike is we have the onset and the offset. Okay? So you have that where we have that initial burst and the yeah. So just a glottal strikes. So the idea is that helps you get that full closure. You only caught the tail end of it, where you were doing the d, t, ch, and j sounds. Yeah, so that's a totally different thing. That's more of a... So that's a sharpness thing. Now, as some of you that might watch bish bash bosh, brain turning on. Trans voice lessons. If some of you have watched trans voice lessons on YouTube, you will be aware that Clover has a video on there talking about sharpness and talking about it in as if it's a core feminization thing. I would heavily disagree with this. I would not call this a core feminization thing. I would call it a cultural thing. It's more of an accent thing. So like British speakers tend to be a bit more dull in their pronunciation. You might hear in my voice, I lean closer to the ch or j sounds in my words. Obviously that's going to vary depending on the word you're saying. But I'm not quite as sharp as, say, someone from California or Seattle. So a lot of that is really heavily cultural. It's even given away a little bit in that video where Clover says, careful that you don't overdo this, because if you overdo this, you'll sound like the whitest white girl in California or something like that. I don't remember exactly what she says. But the implication is basically you will go much more Cali girl if you increase the fuck out of this, which kind of gives the game away. This is actually much more of a cultural thing. hence certain cultures have more of it, rather than being a heavily gendered thing. The reason we were going through it in this lesson, though, is because one, Jaiden, the sample that she sent me of her goal, which is a YouTuber, has a very, very clear and precise voice. So that's going to feature sharper words. But also, as she was speaking, I was hearing that she was particularly dull, to a point where it kind of sounded a little bit like a lisp. And I just wanted to address that. So the start of the lesson you would have missed, I just asked her about it and said, like, hey, I've just noticed this thing. How do you feel about that thing? Is that something you want changing? Is that something you want leaving? What do you think about that? And she was like, let's change that. And like midway through the lesson, I checked in of like, hey, if this is like let me know if you realize that actually you don't care about this particular thing. Because like it's not really a gendery thing. It's more of a making your speech really clear and concise. Not concise, precise. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was going for there. Does that make sense? Do you need me to explain any of that a little bit more? So we look at the sound of themselves. A d, if you make it duller, becomes a j. Okay, a large part of that is the tongue retracting a little bit and the tip dropping a little bit. Same thing if we do the exact same, but it's a t. T and d are very, very similar. There's the same type of sound. So if you do that same dulling on the t, we get a ch. And s is also a very similar one. Slightly different. S is a little bit in its own camp. But we still have it's still roughly the same kind of thing. And so for s, we end up with a sh if it's becoming more dull. And so in Jaiden's voice, there was a lot of sh kind of sounds instead of s, where I would have expected it, to the point of being atypical for most cultures. So yeah, I just thought we'd address it. And certainly she sounds like she's probably American. I haven't asked her exactly where she lives because I don't tend to do that with students. But I would guess somewhere in America. And certainly for anywhere in America, that would be atypical for a voice. I do have a slight concern that maybe Jaiden genuinely has like an actual lisp or something. And maybe there is some anatomical thing going on there or something else. That would be beyond the scope of what I could help with. So yeah, there's a slight possibility that Jaiden actually just needs to see a GP about that and speak to a speech language therapist. But yeah, so we'll kind of see as we go through. You got a similar thing where you're pronouncing d like g, and t like k for 16 years until someone actually bothered to tell you that you were doing it wrong. Oh, that's crazy. Is that just like when you were learning your words, you kind of just learned, like you just thought that d was pronounced as a g? Or like what was going on there? Did you go to a speech pathologist about it? Or did you just kind of like realize that, oh, I'm supposed to say it differently and changed it? I would have thought you'd notice in other people's words that they were saying things differently. Especially t becoming k, like they're totally different words. Sounds. Totally different phonemes. Be the proper. Even d and g. They're both, d, g, t, k. They're changing the same way. Yeah, or Salt's a speech and language therapist. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So was that like a behavioral issue, or was that like a anatomical thing, I guess? Yeah. What happened was you learned incorrectly where the tongue goes in those sounds. Oh, that's crazy. That makes sense, though. Yeah, you just happened to learn it wrong. Yeah. Yeah, so if it's it depends. So in Jaiden's case, if it is behavioural, it depends on how ingrained it is to how much I'd be able to help. Certainly outside of my expertise. If Jaiden's happy having the lessons and wanting me to go over it, then I'm happy to go over it, with the heavy disclaimers that I'm not a speech and language therapist. I'm a voice feminization teacher. It's very different. But I can translate over what I can translate over. Yeah. You were doing d and t, like g and k, and they felt different? Yeah, they would feel different. One of them is... let's get my terms correct. Let's get our IPA chart up. So, a t and a d is going to be labiodental, right? No. Sorry, labio is lips. Yeah, dental, alveolar. It's... Or... Hang on. I need to pause this so I can actually hear this clearly. Oh, yeah, I have to back and forth between these constantly.
Da,
Oh, yeah, we don't want that one.
Da.
I would think of duh as being kind of dental, but I kind of know what they mean. The dental doesn't really get involved. Your teeth don't really get involved. But your tongue is against your teeth, and I feel like that is significant in there. But yeah, alveolar, post-alveolar, that all makes sense. And you're going for more of a, what was the sound? K? What were we looking at? Like a velar thing, maybe? Where's K? Oh yeah, velar.
Ka, a ka. Ya, a ya.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were doing your kind of alveolar, kind of post-alveolar as velar, which is interesting. And yes, you're saying you learnt it by feeling for the difference, which is kind of... I don't like to teach people in that way. Holy fridge, it's loud. Yeah, it's hard for me to know how loud to set things. Yeah, so, okay, it's all just desktop audio. This is the thing. It's all just the same thing. So I don't necessarily know where to set levels and how loud they're going to come through for you. You do it, the tongue was slightly ahead of where it got and cut. Yeah, so that's kind of... So, if we translate what these words mean, because your speech language therapist might not have gone over it. So, these are basically... these are like instructions of where the sound is being produced. So, bilabial is lips. Labiodental is lips and teeth. So think of like a v, that's your teeth and lips. Dental is just your teeth doing something. Alveolar is, as we get to the alveolar is like, if you feel on your tongue, feel with your tongue, go to your teeth and start going back until you start getting to the roof of your mouth. That first bit, if you go further back, you have this big drop. Before we get to that drop is where we have, I believe that's where the alveolar is. If I'm remembering my anatomy right. So alveolar is going to be like, sort of over teeth, and before we have a big chasm, a big drop. Retroflex is, so platal is once we've done the big drop. Retroflex, if I remember rightly, is touching just the ridge as it starts to descend, like that descension point. Oh, I could play with this, couldn't I? Oh, we could totally do all of this with a volume mix. That would make so much more sense, wouldn't it? Okay, hang on. Let me play with this. Okay, hang on. Let's bring this back to normal volume for me. And then drop that right down. I know you guys are barely going to hear it. But then if I do like this, drop it down some more. This needs to be really quiet for you guys, for it to not then be quiet for you guys. So if we set these levels to here, and then bring that low enough that that's not crazy. 3. It makes it super quiet for me, but I can work with this. Okay, how's that for audio levels for you guys? Why did I not think of that earlier? I'm trying to like split from between different audio channels when I could have just done this the whole time. Yeah, how does that sound audio-wise? And I guess actually if everything is quite loud... Okay, how loud is this for you?
Da, da.
Is that like crazy loud? Music's louder for you now. Let me turn this down a bit. Was what I just played also quite loud? Fingers crossed yes, because that means I can just turn everything down a bit and I can control it much more easily in OBS. So hopefully that's a good music level now, and hopefully
Da, da.
isn't super loud for you now, but is also not too quiet. If they're both correct, then we can leave it there. It might be that we need to fiddle some more though. It's difficult because I don't get to hear what you hear as you're hearing it. I could do a sort of thing to play it back to me, but I'd still have to tweak like speaker things a bunch. Oh, YouTube has just died for you? Damn. Rip soul strings. Is it your internet? Oh yeah, because you were saying you have dodgy internet. Music is nice, browser is quieter. Quieter in a good way or quieter in a bad way? Because maybe I just need to drop this down to 2 instead of 3. Which is really... Or even just 1. That's going to be too loud based on what Soul Strings was saying earlier, so I should want a 2. Oh, sorry. There we go. Oh, whoa. Sorry, hold up. Are we good? My PC just freaked out for a second there. Sorry about that. Okay, everything should be nice levels now. I think this is probably...
Da, da.
That should all be pretty good for you guys now, I would guess. Yeah, everything pretty good now? Okay. Yeah, and hopefully this is like... Browser's still a bit loud. Okay, well that's kind of the best we can get. Either browser's going to be a bit loud, or the browser's going to be a bit quiet. Yeah. We don't seem to be able to get that sweet spot. Osmond Cable now. You know what, let's have it as it was just before then, because it seems like you preferred that. So this set at 1. Oh wait, you were saying that the browser was loud. I mean, I can do this. This is probably the best you're gonna get with that. So then,
Da, da.
yeah. It's probably the best we're going to be able to do with it. Okay, now we enter a really quiet bit of music and you probably barely hear it now. This is probably going to be the best we're going to get. It'll do. It'll do. Hopefully that's not aids in any way for you. Can you just lower the volume of your browser in the same menu? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh! I understand. Yes, I could do that. You're totally right. You're totally right. Volume mixer. Why are you showing up like that? That's not what I wanted. Give me... Oh yeah, because I'm on the wrong one. Volume mixer. Yeah, we could totally turn down the volume in browser. See, why do I not think of these things? You guys are such big brain. So if I drop it down by about 30%...
Da, da.
Is that a bit better for you guys now? Hopefully that's all pretty good now. Yeah. Cool. Just a bit more? No worries. Let's go down an extra 10%. Bring that to 60. Yeah.
Da, da.
Yeah, 60 out of 100 is what I did. We both had the same idea. Okay. There you go. Hopefully that's now pretty decent. And I won't touch that. It can stay as it is. If I need my browser louder, I'll turn my speakers up for me. Alright-ish. Oh, we can tweak more. It depends on how crazy we want to go with this. But if that's pretty good, that's pretty good. We can always...
A teenager who has shut herself off from society finds herself in a dream where she obtains a mysterious
way better
egg
now?
that follows
Okay,
her into
good.
waking life. She enters a dream world woven from the fabric of her own trauma from school.
Yeah, looking at OBS, it looks like it's a good level. Okay, cool. I'll take it. I'll take it. Sick. Even video isn't earbanging? Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's good, that's good. Cool. Okay, good. We spent so long fixing audio there that I forgot what we were doing today. If I can just close a bunch of stuff at least. Yeah, what were we talking about today? I guess to take us way, way back, did you guys have any questions about the lesson we just had? Now an hour ago. Yeah, do you guys have any questions about that lesson? Is there anything you wanted like explaining more? I can screenshot the settings of your OBS voice meter. Yeah, I guess I could. I'm thinking just like leave them alone. And if I want to watch a YouTube video and have it louder, I'll turn my speakers up. I guess, yeah, actually, I will definitely take a screenshot of my OBS because that has to be played around with a lot at the moment. I think I should just get a separate channel in my OBS for Discord audio. Yeah. Although, yeah, I guess, yeah, it would still then need to be separated out, but yeah. OBS stream audio settings. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. You don't have a print screen button? Yeah, I do, but I have oh no, it doesn't automatically launch snipping tool. No, it just takes a full print screen of both my screens. Oh no, I just saved it. You found phonation diagrams helpful in the past when having to relearn how to make certain sounds. I was wondering if that could also benefit previous student. Possibly. I assume so. This isn't just to make sure we're not muddling terms up. This isn't a phonation thing because phonation is very specifically the process of producing that source. Okay, so your vocal folds are in charge of phonation. Okay, if you think back to the workshops, we have that power source filter model. So power is your air. Okay, the source is the source of sound. That's where phonation occurs. That's for vocal folds. And then as we continue, we enter into the filter. So everything we're doing is filter stuff. We are changing the sound into words. Or changing the single tone, changing the source into different sounds and words and phonemes. We do definitely use the PHON prefix too much though. Like it should be called a phoneme in my opinion, because that implies that it's something to do with phonation, which it's not. It's past the point of phonation. Yeah, source strings. I'm pretty sure that's your end. Nothing happens on my computer when you have that. Phonetics, yeah. No, you're fine, Pimpero. That's 100% an issue of like the community, I guess. Of we just don't use good terms. You know what? I should use in private browser so that I have less potential of doxing myself when I do stuff. Okay. Phonetic diagram. Let's see if we can get a good one. Don't just be vowels. Please don't just be vowels. Okay, here we go. Can I just have this as a large image? Oh my gosh. Where's the thing? Open image in new tab. There you go. Okie dokie. Okay, I understand this. I don't know how much other people will, but yeah, this might be something that we could use as a useful thing. I would worry about it confusing students a lot. But yeah. Yeah, so there's that retroflex I was on about with it being on that alveolar ridge where it drops. And yeah, it's specifically the blade. Right. I thought it was a tip for retroflex. Okay, wait. This diagram isn't amazing because there's arrows. It's confusing what number is for what arrow. Okay, 5 is the curvy arrow, not 3. Okay, which makes sense. Yes, okay, I was right. So tip is retroflex. Yeah. Okay, that's the one issue with this diagram. There's too many arrows that aren't clear enough. But something like this, I think you're right. It's only for specific students because I really try to stay away from this stuff as much as possible because I don't want you I don't want people consciously being like, I don't want people consciously trying to control these things. I want it to be much more, it's like these kinds of instructions are like me teaching you to pick up a water bottle by like going through your bicep and your wrist muscles and the manipulation of tendons in your fingers and all of that nonsense. And that's not how we control picking up a bottle. We just pick up bottle, pick up bottle. That's the level at which you interact with your body. So I try to avoid this sort of stuff as much as possible. But like, yeah, I mean, if sound isn't working, if I can't give you sa versus sh or da versus j being the same as sa versus sh, then it does get tricky. Yeah. Yeah, physical stuff can be my fallback if nothing else is working. But it is very much a fallback. I try to avoid this as much as possible. Because it's just too much mental, it's just too much cognitive load. To be thinking about the exact position of your tongue as you try to say stuff. It's like, that's a lot. Yes, this particular diagram is a little bit, a little bit horrendous. What's this one like? This one's probably better, yeah. Oh, no, just give it as a fucking... Open image in new tab. Or maybe this one. Too many things on that one, it might confuse people. It doesn't have a blade of a tongue for some reason. Yeah, maybe this one's a bit easier. So if I was to instruct an S to be... so teeth coming together, blade being against the teeth, tip being against the teeth and blade being against the alveolar ridge. Maybe that's can like you could build towards that. Soul strings, try using your mobile instead. See if that's any better. I have a sort of weird question that might be irrelevant, but that's okay. Is it possible to speak too high a resonance? Okay, so I like to... There are some terms... I generally stick with terms being whatever the student would like them to be. But there are some things we try to avoid, or I try to avoid. So higher resonance, no. Pick something different than higher, because I don't want a conflation with pitch. We could say brighter resonance, or we could say smaller resonance, or just whatever it sounds like. But it's not higher, because higher would be ah, which is pitch. Whereas resonance is like ah. Yeah. To answer your question though, is it possible to speak with too brighter resonance or too smaller resonance, or whatever word you want to use? Kind of. So if you go bright enough, let's think about what is happening in more of like a cultural way when we go brighter. I'm gonna walk you through some steps. So, first of all, what is it that caused people that have had testosterone exposure What caused their resonance to darken or their vocal tract size to enlarge? Well, puberty. Specifically, testosterone exposure. Okay? So when testosterone exposure happened to that vocal tract, the larynx descended and expanded. And to some extent, some other stuff. But let's now look at non-testosterone dominant puberty. We still have some testosterone exposure. We still have some changing in a non-testosterone based puberty, okay? In terms of the sounds, in terms of voice. So for example, a cis woman's voice still changes after puberty, just not as much as a cis male's. And we know from science that the only thing that's different is the level of testosterone exposure. So that means if you keep brightening, at some point you'll hit typical not having been exposed to testosterone levels. Testosterone levels typical of someone who has an AFAB puberty. If you keep going further, now it's going to sound like there's been no testosterone exposure. What would that be? That would be a child's voice, prepubescent. So essentially, if we wrap it all the way back around, is it possible to speak with too high a resonance? Depends on what voice you want. But if you keep going, eventually you'll cross the line past cis AFAB levels, or cis female levels, whatever, and eventually you'll cross over into pre-puberty. Okay? So, yeah. Does that answer your question? Hopefully that answers your question. That said, there are like other things in your language which can make you sound more mature, more adult, just in like the way you use language, because adults don't tend to say the same words as children do. You're not necessarily going to sound like a child. So for example, Ziana from Trans Voice Lessons, especially in her earlier videos, she pretty much maxed out brightness. She maybe could have gone a bit more, but like she got pretty, like she went for it. Especially in her earlier videos. She mellowed out down the road, but yeah. And I wouldn't say she necessarily sounded like a child, but she did sound atypical for what you might expect in a female voice. It sounded like she'd gone to an extreme. And that's because she has that childlike resonance or vocal tract size, or whatever term you want to use, but like her other communication very clearly, as well as like seeing her, like you can see that's an adult, is going to impact your perception there. Like she's not talking like a child talks, she's using big words and she's pronouncing them properly. She's got a more mature cadence. There's no like anxiety in her voice like you might expect in a child's voice. Yeah, all of those like other things that communicate youth are more appropriate to her age, because she is her age. As well as just like you look at her and you can see she's not 12. So despite having that resonance, she's still, despite essentially the bass voice kind of being in that closer to like a 12-year-old kind of thing, everything else basically like confuses the brain a little bit and makes it sound older. Yeah, hopefully that is super clear. Most people, in my experience so far, are not going for that level of an extremity. Some are, and that's entirely valid if somebody is. Just that's not what I typically find in students, and that's not what I typically aim towards. I'll only take a student over there if they specifically request that I do so. So usually in our very first lesson, we'll talk about goals, and I might check in on that as we go through stuff. So like it'll start off, let's say this is a brand new student who hasn't done any voice work before. I'll start off with goals and stuff. Then from there, I'll take them to, we'll go through our ordinary lessons. I'll teach them the basics of size. I'll teach them weight. We'll get them really good at it. Once they've mastered that and are producing a feminine sound, I'll then reapproach goals. This will be like, we're now months into lessons, many months into lessons. We're in like the later stage. Now that we got to that later stage, I'm going to be checking in again of like, okay, we've kind of mastered these things now. We're producing a feminine voice. Is it where you want it to be? How would you like to tweak this? And at that point, they can tell me, well, I want it more feminine. I want it like hyper fem. Excuse me. If somebody says more feminine, I'm normally going to be like needling a bit there because I don't like more feminine as a goal. It's not specific. It doesn't really... It's a very... Brainworms will do that. Everybody that has brainworms will tell you they just want more fem and they won't really know what that means. And them not knowing what that means is a really good clue of brainworms. So yeah, usually if I get the feedback of more fem, I'm going to be like, give me... More fem doesn't mean anything. Give me something. You're at this stage in your learning. You know what size is. You know what weight is. You've picked up on some other stuff we've gone through as we've gone along. Give me some specifics. What exactly are we wanting to change? If I'm still not sure, I might ask for, well, do you know any sounds that have the element that you're looking for? And we can kind of work towards what actually are they wanting to change specifically. Like, what does more fem mean to them? Yeah, with the main goal being, I don't want, because more fem is a shifting goalpost, because you can always be more fem in theory, although in reality, there is no infinitely fem voice. But if your goal is more fem, then you are moving towards the infinite fem voice that doesn't exist and therefore will never be satisfied. So, yeah. Yeah, totally valid if you can't decide on a target voice. And part of that will be, but that's a different thing from just saying, well, I want more fem. If you're not sure what kind of fem, that's a totally different thing, as you're not saying it is more or less, you're saying it's different. And that's, I'm down with that. If you're just wanting to change it, and that not necessarily being a level of femininity, then yeah, we would just look around. And it might just be a bit of like, just have a little explore, come back to me when you have a better idea. I can't really give you like your target voice. It's something, it's a personal decision. You just have to decide that for yourself. But if you have vague ideas of like, I don't really know any specifics, but I can tell that areas that want changing, then I can help us get more specific. Like, okay, if we can roughly identify something that you're not satisfied with, then I can help you move towards that being more and more precise. So we can figure out what exactly is the thing that's giving you that read or that vibe. If you can identify it being more or less in someone else's voice, then we can figure the thing out. Yeah. Your target voice is the English VA for Freerin. Her voice is so soft and pretty. I feel like I have both heard that and heard that exact same feedback, or somebody else having that exact same goal before. Is this a German anime? No. That person just was German, so would have heard of it in German. Oh wait, no. I think this is a different character. Never mind. OST.
You were exceptional. That was quite the show.
Really loud for me.
Well done.
If this isn't.
You were exceptional.
Okay. I have no idea what volume that was for you. That was really loud for me. That might have just been the clip. The VA's normal voice or the character's voice? Oh, well, yeah, true. Ufa. The VA's normal voice or the character's voice? The character's. Okay. Yeah, okay, so she has a lower pitched kind of a voice. A little bit of breathiness, yeah?
That was quite the show. Well done.
Yeah. It wasn't actually invariant, but that was quite the show. Very loud. Okay, I thought it's also very loud for me. I think it's just this particular clip is really fucking loud.
You were exceptional. That was quite the show.
Okay,
Well
that should be a
done.
nice volume for you. It's a nice volume for me.
You were
Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, you're going for a lower pitch. This is quite a common request. If this is the sort of sultry voice, kind of sexy voice, you bring down your pitch a little bit. So now I have that slightly lower pitch. You slow your speech down a little bit, and have some really nice clear pronunciation. And you add a little bit of breathiness to it, okay? So now we have this kind of a voice, all right? And you could also accent it with like little bits of fry every so often, if you really want to like highlight a word. You're basic, yeah, kinda. Sorry, you're basic, Ufa. But now if we go through that sentence
You were
again,
exceptional. That was quite the show.
okay. Fuck, how well can I imitate this? You're exceptional. That was quite the show.
Well done.
Well done. That's the main bit, I'm guessing. I'm guessing the well done is where you're at. Well done. Yeah, it's the seductive voice. Lower your pitch. Yeah, sultry voice is so fun to do. It is so fun to do. If you want like similar to this, the one that I used for training was because I had a practice with this voice because it's a fucking fun voice and everybody wants to have practice with this voice. We had these British ads. So there's a store in Britain called M&S. It's Marks and Spencer's. And we had these particular M&S food ads, which like played off of this super hard. Oh, does it? But they changed it, and this is a modern ad.
This is Collection,
There you go.
a range of incredible food by M&S, like succulent Collection Madagascan black tiger prawns, or
That kind of a voice. Yeah. If I bring up the subs. Black tiger prawns. We've lowered the pitch down. We've slowed our talking a little bit. I'm sometimes stretching out some of those vowels. Okay, I've reduced my volume just a little bit, so you have to pay attention to my voice now. And I've gone really breathy. No, I haven't gone super breathy, but I've added some breathiness into it. And if you're really trying to like enunciate a word there, you'll like slow it right down. Like a tiger prawns. Vanilla Jella Lawson voice, maybe. I feel like I don't even remember what she sounds like, other than using a colander. Something to you'd be careful with trying to specific mimic character voices is that you can that they can sound really weird in actual conversation. Yeah, true. But you can still use. So you just use it to less of an extreme in actual conversation. So like if I was kind of talking like this and this was my voice, I'd probably need to modify it a little bit to make it more typical in ordinary conversation, but we could move towards something using this kind of a direction and just moving it towards your more normal voice and finding the specific areas. Maybe it's prosody that changes, so I've just changed up my prosody as I was saying that to be a bit more typical of conversational. And yeah, I would guess that where I'm at right now might be a bit more typical. So we still have that breathiness in there. We've still lowered the pitch just a little bit, but I have my normal prosody now. So yeah, all of those things are what you can play with, and you just sort of, when you're trying to make it natural, the main thing usually is reducing your prosody change. Prosody is like speech pattern and like pitch pattern and all of those sorts of things of like the way you're saying the words. Yeah, so you move the prosody, shift it towards like you reduce that first and then look towards reducing the other things until you find something that is more normal for you, but fits into ordinary conversationalness. You've seen a lot of people, Americans in particular, try to exaggerate British voices. Yeah, so yeah, if we're going for accents and stuff, that's mainly just because people aren't very good at accents usually. They're trying to like up it, basically, like an extreme version of an accent. to communicate that they're doing the accent, because they're not as like learned in that particular accent. It happens. It's not just British voices. Like it happens the same way the other way around. Like if I go for an American accent, this is me doing my American accent. And as you can imagine, there's probably not an American on earth that sounds like this. Yeah, that's probably like horrendous to any American. It's super exaggerated. It's probably lacking a variety of elements, because I am a Brit. I'm not an American. So I'm not going to have that level of precision, because I'm not as familiar with the accent. In fact, I can't even think of an American that I've spoken to that sounds like that. I'm pretty sure it's also like a little bit south, deep south or something. Yeah, as a Brit, it's going to stand out to us more when people do silly British accents. But that's, yeah, it's a separate thing. I love this jazzy stuff. But yeah, I suppose that's something to like think about when you are looking at target voices, of like thinking about what exactly you're transferring over, because you're probably not trying to transfer that accent over. You're probably not trying to transfer, probably not their prosody, probably not their speech pattern, because that's much more of a personal, like, but there's a lot of personality in your speech pattern. So when it's, excuse me, it's really hard to change personality stuff. It's really hard to change speech pattern stuff, because like so much of your personality is in there, but like it's like changing your personality. So that's like really tricky. And it's usually not what you're actually trying to change. It's usually not what's in there. Usually we're looking at tone mods. Usually we're looking, we're basically entirely looking at tone mods. Tone mods being the raising of the larynx, the constriction or the closure of the oropharynx, adding some knödel, adding some nasality or removing some nasality, adding twang, removing twang. These little additional modifiers are usually what we're talking in terms of emulate, or like maybe pitch. I don't know if you'd consider that really a tone mod, because that happens at the source of a sound rather than being a filter applied onto it. But yeah. Yeah, that's sort of what you're looking for when you're looking at like target voices and transferring them into your voice. It's usually looking at those tone mods. Yeah, okay, I need to go to the toilet real quick. I'll be right back. Hello, I return. Okay. I feel like I've exhausted that topic, unless you have further questions. I do want to do something about the stream delay, because when I'm talking directly with chat, this isn't what we're going to do right now. It's a general comment I'm making. Yeah, I want to do something about the stream delay, because when I'm talking with you guys, I can end up with a lot of dead air because I'm like waiting for you to respond, which I need to do something about that.
yeah, not sure. Not sure what I can do about that unless we can just get the delay down. Because yeah, we don't want dead air. That's not good for stream. So yeah, okay, new topic. A bunch of people in the Discord were requesting that we do a let me bring up a podcast, which like, whoa, that's a whole big, that's a wow. A little nervous about that idea, but I kind of do like the idea if I did it right. I feel like it's definitely hard to. So the way I would do the podcast, because I don't feel like I necessarily have. Oh, sorry, music is finished. Let me hang on a second. Let me deal with this real quick. You turn off. Music. Okay. There you go. Yeah, so essentially, what I was thinking, I feel like I would struggle to just talk for like an hour or 2 hours. Because like, what would I talk about? Normally I have you guys as the audience, but if I don't have that, then like if I'm just doing a podcast, I don't know what I would podcast about. But there was the idea of guest podcasts, and that I could do because the guest is the subject. So yeah, there was a suggestion of doing. Whoa! No! Go away! Why you don't even? Oh. Okay. I hate that does that. It's so annoying. Can I reset the default browser for a particular application? Okay, let me just see what was on screen when that happened. Fortunately, nothing that is private. Fucking hell. I hate when that happens. It's whenever I minimize Discord, it resets its window to then open again, which is fucking annoying as fuck. Sorry about that. Yes, we are using low latency. Yeah. I think it just kind of is what it is. I think the added delay is coming from the chatbot. But I'll see if there is anything I can do about it. But yeah, people were asking about a podcast. And I was leaning us towards, if I was to do a podcast, it'd have to be a guest podcast, because that gives us a subject to talk about. And after discussing with people, I was kind of leaning towards like, what if we did a podcast, if that's what people are wanting, that is like, and it has to be done right, because it rides the line between being, it can either be very, what's the word? Like, it can either be done in a very empowering way, in a very sort of like, look how amazing this person has done, or it could become very insensitive, and it's like very easy for that to happen. One potential solution for risk of doxing, what if you had a separate profile on your computer just for lessons and streaming? That's a really good idea, Vampiro. That's such a good idea. I will look into that probably today or tomorrow. I will almost certainly do that. That's such a good idea. Yeah, back to the podcast. Basically what I was thinking is we have, I talked to somebody about their voice journey, about their journey as a trans person, and just what that's been like for them. And yeah, we just talk about that stuff, with the core focus being around voice stuff. And then at the end, if they have still retained their unmodified voice, then they would just show us their unmodified voice. And if not, if they had like an old clip, we could use that as like an original voice reveal. And the idea being that like they can showcase how much they've like developed their modified voice and how much progress they've made on that. And yeah, it's just a matter of like, it has to be done in a way that isn't like
But it's a celebration of what they've achieved, rather than just being like a quirky, like, oh, there's the weird thing, there's your dead voice sort of thing. I feel like there's a way to do it, but it has to be like, you gotta do it right, you know? There's a level of potential controversy in that, which could be like not what I'm going for. Because it wants to be like a sort of inspiring, like, hey, no matter where your voice started, you can achieve whatever you set your mind to in terms of voice modification. And here's a whole variety of different voices with different start points that have all achieved their voice. So it would have to all be people that are like, have fully finished their voice journey and have like, this is now their default voice and everything, that have still retained their old voice, which is a much smaller sample of people, which would be one difficulty. Like just finding guests would be quite a difficult thing, I imagine. But also like making sure that it is, I guess, presenting the right vibes, I guess. Yeah. There's also the difficulty of just like, how long can I get someone to talk about their transition and their voice transition and stuff like that? Like, it'd want to be at least an hour to be worth being a podcast. Really, probably better to be like an hour and a half. Like, I feel like 90 minutes is a decent podcast length. Certainly more is good, but like 90 minutes, I think that's entirely acceptable. And I think both to solve the time commitment it would take on my end, because that would be a huge undertaking to start doing a podcast. And I guess it has the side effect of dealing with the guest issue. It's just they'd have to be really infrequent. It'd be like one a month. If I was even ever able to do this, because like that's a huge time commitment, and right now like I don't have a lot of time because I'm teaching all the time, and when I'm teaching, I'm working on things. Like there's so much more that goes into Trans Network than just the streams, just the workshops, because there's also all the lessons, and then there's all the preparing for lessons. There's the like just like people getting booked in and things like that, and just like kind of running the show in the background, as well as all just for like things that I do to spread our reach. So like I help out in a lot of other Discords, not a lot of other Discords, I help out in like 2 other Discords, just giving advice. In theory, like 5 other Discords, but the others are very active. But like Trans Voice, I try to help out at, and I'm not active enough in there as it is. Same with the Icky Discord. I try to help people out there because I noticed they didn't really have anybody helping them, which sucks for them. So I wanted to like help with that. But I'm not as active as I'd like to be. I don't keep on top of it amazingly. And then just like ordinary real life things in terms of like I need to do my house chores and shit and like walk the dog and all of that. So yeah, balancing all of this is something I'm still figuring out. Also doesn't help that my current ADHD meds situation is like not quite where it wants to be. So I went from I titrated up to 50 milligrams, and then we decided to go for higher doses because I wasn't having an effect in the morning, but now I'm just having less of an effect that 50 had. I'm having like somewhere between 30 and 50 in terms of like the effect, which is very weird. Yeah, I'm just not getting the effect that 50 gave me. So yeah, that's also like a thing that needs figuring out. And to some extent, I probably need to just like, this is my first time living this style of a life. Like previously, working gardening was just do my 9 till 5, and then any like little organizational things in the background, and then that was about it. Like administrative stuff. But this is a whole other like, this is completely different to that. And so it consumes much more time and much more brain space, and it just makes it much harder. So because it's so different, I'm having to like learn how to use my time properly, basically, and learn how to learn how to allocate time, learn how to be productive, I suppose, because I'm being productive in a very different way to I've ever done in the past. So yeah, there's a little like figuring out of that. So I'm hoping in time I'm going to be better at like just doing more with the time that I have, getting more done. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm at right now. I think I want to get a whiteboard and just write down things that need doing, so I can have that there as like a reminder of like, okay, these are the tasks that need doing, or these are the next things that need doing. And being a whiteboard, I can easily like, wipe off and put new stuff. We can add stuff, midstream when people mention it and stuff like that. Current projects are getting the makeup consultations up and running, which I think I just about have working now. I need to speak to somebody about something, and then that should be running. So there's A. And then also our makeup artist, excuse me, our makeup artist Beans mentioned that they think it'd be a good idea if we had a what do you call it? What do you call it? Mutual aid, like a mutual aid thing. Basically, like if people are struggling with like makeup or clothes and stuff, and they simply do not have the money, but other people do have the money and want to support in that kind of a way, then it's a channel where they can do that. Still figuring out exactly how that would work, because it's tricky to make that not like a problematic situation. What I'm currently looking at, like the idea I have in mind as like the perfect thing would be a channel you could access where people can both say like their situation and what they're needing, and people could state that like, hey, like I have some excess money that I can put towards people as like public things. And then there could also be a private thing of like there being some kind of pot of money that people can put into if they so choose, and people can take out of if they so need. I feel like just having a pot of money that's publicly accessible is something that has to be very much like in a controlled way. Like maybe you can access, I don't know, £50 in one go, or like, and maybe only like £50 given a certain month or something like that, a certain period of time. Because the idea would be like, with £50 you could get yourself a full set of makeup, assuming you're keeping it cheap. Yeah, it's just a matter of like, it wants to be for specific things of like what we're doing. This isn't like, oh, I'm short on rent, I'm just going to go into the public pot and just like take some of that for my rent money, which isn't like what we're trying to do here. I imagine most people would be respectful of it, but it only takes one person to come in, or it just takes somebody finding out about it that's not part of our community to like be like, oh, I could totally just take advantage of that, and just come in just so they could do that. And yeah, it just takes one person to totally ruin it. So yeah, there's a lot of figuring out into how to make this work. And maybe it would just be a channel, and that's it. It's just a channel, and people can figure themselves out. I don't want a situation where it's like, I guess it would be like threads is probably the best way you would do that. But I don't want it to be a situation of just like, there's a billion requests and then nobody actually fulfilling those requests. Like, that's just going to feel shit for everybody. And it's going to be a pointless channel that nothing is actually happening in. It's just a bunch of people like asking for help and not getting it. Which, yeah, is like no good. So, yeah, there's a lot of figuring out of like, how do I make that work logistically speaking? A vetting process could work, but then again, that's like, I don't know how I would vet that. That, yeah, I don't even know how I would go about that. How do I vet somebody to not be, like, how would I know that somebody isn't going to abuse the system, essentially? I have no idea. If we were going for a full mutual aid thing, it would just be anyone can take whatever they'll want for any reason. But, like, I don't want that setup. Because I don't want somebody just coming in and taking it all, and then everybody else misses out because of that. Like, that's no good, in my opinion. Yeah, so there's a lot of figuring out of it. And yeah, I don't like the idea of just an ever-growing list of people asking for help that aren't getting it. Because that's also shit. So I want there to be some manner by which people, like, there's a system beyond just the channel existing. Because then people don't necessarily have to fill it with wanting help. It can also be, like, you can do that in a private way. I don't know. There's a way to do this, I think. Or maybe there isn't a way to do this in a good way, in a clean way. And maybe it's going to have to be a bit having issues, regardless of how we do it. I'm not sure. I'll look to see how other people have done similar things. And it might even just be that I give the community some issues. Some options. Like, hey, here's the ways I can do this. Here are the issues that come with each way. What would you like as a community? Yeah, I'm not sure. Because the idea is a nice idea. It just has to be... I don't want it to, in practice, be shit, essentially. Yeah. Because that just ends up feeling shit for everybody involved. Yeah. But yeah, so going all the way back, that's one of the other jobs. I did promise you all some fucking D&D ages ago, and I don't know if I can actually keep to that. Because it's just also a huge time commitment of me, like, learning how to DM, preparing a campaign, there's just a lot of preparation that goes into that I don't think I have time to do. And then there's also the people really wanted this, and I really also want it to come back of just a community hangout day where we just, like, play Jackbox or some shit. But it's also just the time commitment of that. Even if it was just, like, a once a month thing, like, my calendar's pretty packed. Because of the service we provide in terms of teaching voice lessons to adults specifically, most people have to work around either work or studies, which means most people want lessons in the evenings, which is valid. But my evenings are pretty much full now. I'm not taking any more evening students, so yeah, I can't give any more evening time. But, like, when would we do the when would I do another event? Well, it would have to be an evening, and I don't really have any left, so that's the other thing to figure out. Yeah, that's all the things. I might relent and say, you know what, I am open to some volunteers if people would like to, because I know a couple of people have asked to, like, volunteer to do certain things, and I've been hesitant in the past because, like, this is my baby and I want it to work and I need to be in total control. I know that sounds a little bit schizo, and I know it sounds quite controlling, but, like, this is important to me. This is my income. This is, like, hopefully my entire future. So, like, it has to be, yeah, like, I volunteers have to be, like, the right people. Yeah, which means I need to know them well. I need to have more of an understanding of what they've done. It can't just be anyone. So yeah, there's just a lot that goes into that. but we could probably improve the community a lot by having, if people want to do it, some volunteers. So I'm considering like maybe if somebody wants to do it, and this isn't like only if somebody wants to do it, maybe I'm open to a volunteer that just runs the like a games night. And if it's a volunteer, then that can be down to the volunteer's availability in terms of frequency and what day it's on. I would want it to be done at a time when most people are available, because that's the whole point. But it would be something where I don't necessarily have to be there each time for it to still be able to run. And maybe I can be there sometimes, just not all the time, because I can't I just can't make that time commitment anymore. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it more. But I think certainly that, just that on its own. It also feels weird to like ask people like, hey, who wants to be a volunteer? You won't get paid, you won't get anything for this, you'll just work for me for free. Like that feels a bit scummy. But then other servers have volunteers and it's fine and everybody is respectful of that. And like, it is just by choice. Like if nobody wants to be a volunteer, that's fine. So I don't know. I guess I gotta discuss with the server a bit more. I guess if you guys have thoughts on that, then like, you know, I'm very, very open for other people's opinions and input on this. I'm probably overthinking it. I overthink things a lot, as you can probably tell. This is my sort of perfectionist side coming out. But yeah, one of the other jobs it needs doing is I will need to get that. I really need to get the the art competition going. Yeah, the art competition needs to be. I can get that sorted soon, because I feel like I just need to make a channel for submissions, and make an announcement. I think that's all that is actually needed. I've been trying to think through. Are there other things? Oh, there was one other thing that I wanted. There's only so much I can do 6 lesson package giveaways. That's a lot of giveaway. And for what we were doing before, that was fine. I think for just an art challenge, not to disrespect art, but it's the equivalent of me spending £120. So like, you know, I think it'd be more appropriate to do either a free lesson package giveaway, like you get to choose your prize, free lesson package giveaway, or I was going to speak to Beans, our makeup artist, about putting together an actual like product list of here's a basic universal makeup like beginner set. So if you're buying your first set of makeup, here's the things to buy. And then once they've built that for me, then that could be one of the prizes. Like I will buy you that set of makeup, and send it to whatever address you tell me to send it to. I think that's that you choose one of those 2 prizes, and if we can think of any other prizes in the meantime, then maybe we also allow those to be within the choices as well. So the only task that we'd need there is I need to speak to Beans about that basic makeup package, and then once that's put together, we could make an announcement. I'm thinking the way the competitions is going to be structured is like, oh yeah, I wanted some mini prizes as well. I need to think of mini prizes. Maybe you choose an item of makeup, or you get a lesson, something like that. I need to think about that a bit more. Because the main thing is it's a competition for making a trans network banner. But I'd like to have like wildcards for like submitting other art materials, of like other art assets that we might use in trans network, but aren't necessarily the banner. And people can just look at what we've got and decide, hey, maybe you would like this, and make that. And that could be just like an extra thing they could submit. And I might give some like wildcard prizes to just good ones off that. But that can't be too huge of a prize, just so that it's like doable for me. Because like I'm working on a pretty tight budget, so like I can't go crazy with giveaways. I only have so much space for lessons, and it seems silly to give away a lesson. Like you're not going to get a lot out of one lesson. You need more than one lesson, almost always. Yeah, I don't know. There's something to figure out with a wildcard thing, and I just haven't quite got it. Yeah, I don't know. Unless we just do like a you'll get kudos. It feels scummy of me to say that though, or to do that. But maybe like people would just enjoy expressing their art and having it as part of the server and part of what we use, and having it there all the time. But it does feel a little bit like paid in exposure, you know? With me not having that much exposure, you know, to pay with. So yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure out how the wildcard thing works. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's everything we had there in terms of the like immediate pressing jobs with TN. That's sort of what's happening at the minute, I suppose. Okay, I'm now seeing the time. I gotta wrap things up. So, what is coming up? What is coming up indeed? Let me, let's go over to this just chatting screen for a minute. So I can pull up my calendar without it being all public. Oh, that's another thing I want. I want to set something up, and hopefully I can get a bot to do this. To like give a weekly, here's what's happening in TN. Because right now, like I just drop announcements when something's happening and you don't get any warning, which is like probably a bit shit for people. Like nobody's gonna be able to plan around that. But if I can instead do like a, here's what's coming up. And something that could do that automatically, and I just set it up. Like if something can read my Google Calendar, and like, because you can split Google Calendar into multiple calendars. So if I can make a calendar that is like the stuff for the bot to do and interact with to make the message, that would be good. And I bet there must be a thing that does that. So that's something I want to do. You see, there's all these things to do. This is the battle that I'm having right now that I'm trying to figure out, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Anyway, okay. So next thing for you guys to expect will be on Saturday. We have the usual workshop. Saturday 14th, 7 p.m. BST. Yep, it's the standard trans network voice modification workshop that happens every week. Then the following week, what do we have? Monday we have a lesson with Angelic. That's at 2 o'clock BST, and we'll probably stream for an hour or two after that. And then on Tuesday, we don't have anything on Tuesday. Oh, that's it for the following week. So we just have that Monday. I was sure we had another public somewhere, but maybe I need to check on that to make sure I'm not missing something. Yeah, I think that's the stuff. So I will see you all in the Saturday workshop, and then I'll see you on the Monday live stream. And that song has just finished. Perfect timing. Before the next one comes in, though. Okay, all right. I'm going to stop rambling. I will see you all on Saturday. Have a lovely rest of your week. And yeah, I'll see you on Saturday. Okay, all right. Goodbye. Goodbye. And goodbye. Appreciate you.